to the cloud. Awesome. All right. So I don't know if you were on this Zoom meeting, but somebody did ask me in the server, um, what was my reasoning behind entering Pinterest? Symmetrical triangle playing out, drawn here on the hourly. If we look at it on the 4 hour, it is present as well. Hourly, 4 hour, they both show up pretty well. I entered based off of the 4 hour, but of course, when you break it down to the hourly, it's going to show itself even better. Simple two to three rule touch here. We got our first touch, we got our second touch, we got our first touch here, second, then we got our breakout today. This looks very, very strong heading into close. This could all honesty be in the money, depending on how we close, because the stochastic slow is crossing to the upside as well. Nice bounce off the 9 EMA today, earlier this morning. If you look at it on the hourly, slightly overextended. So we could see a pullback here, but either way, I'm perfectly comfortable swinging this so long as it doesn't die all the way back down below $67. That would really suck. That's probably not going to happen though, unless of course the rug gets pulled out from SPY. I think you guys got a better entry than I did. I'm currently up 18% on it right now. Make sure everybody's in. Good, everybody is in. I'm currently up 18% on it. For ATB, I'm currently up 14%, and NEE, I'm up 8% as well. Okay. If we look at pins, let's look at triple Qs first, because we're going to go through the indexes. Since we're talking about Pinterest, that is a heavily tech, or excuse me, triple Qs, that's heavily weighted for the tech sector. Pinterest is a tech company. Right off the bat here, we have an ascending triangle for triple Qs that I can see. So this is a bullish pattern. Okay. Buyers are stepping in here 2 hours in a row. Let's see what happens in power hour. Okay. So power hour, probably going to see a red candle if I'm being honest. Okay. This was a very big trading day. To come back the way that this market did from the first half an hour or so and that huge sell off, and then to rally it back in, you're going to have riders that bought in at some point right in these 2 hours. Okay. They're going to sell out for profit today because they're green. Okay. They're not going to swing it overnight, especially with tomorrow being a Friday. You're going to have people that sell out. I just don't want to see a complete fade and dump. Okay. We are overextended. The closest technical support we have is all the way down here. That would be a really, really nasty drop. And technically, we will be breaking down out of that triangle, depending on that as well. Okay. If we look at it on the 4 hour, it's not going to show it as well. We actually look really, really good on the 4 hour. Okay. So really only extended on the hourly, and that's not a terrible time frame to be overextended on. Okay. And let me remove those trend lines here real quick. If you look at this 4 hour candle right now, if the market was to close right now, buyers have stepped in this 4 hour time period. Okay. That's a bullish candle. Decent little top wick so far, but that's really nothing. More so the bottom wick, that's what I noticed. Stochastic slow cross to the upside as well, showing strong momentum shift. And now finally, triple Q's all-time high is definitely in sight here. So close to a bullish engulfing, but not quite there, but certainly a bullish candle by all means. Notice the volume bar. The volume bar so far is bigger. Okay, so this is guaranteed to be a bigger volume bar than the previous day, which is good. OBV is now pointing up in a solid uptrend, which is always good to see as well. So that's a nice confluence that we have right there for volume. Overextended on the daily, but if we get a stochastic slow cross to the upside again here, we're going to be looking at that as a very strong bullish momentum signal. Okay, we're pushing 340. Ideally, if you're bullish in the tech sector, you want a close above 340. Okay, let's check out SPY. SPY, this was the one that took the beating the most, I think, this morning. So if we're looking at SPY, OBV is kind of chopping around a little bit, but it's pointing up. That's good. Volume is still low, but we still have 56 or a little over 55 minutes left in market open. Right now, SPY called its bottom at the 9 EMA. Okay, that's no different than this candle right here. So long as this holds, the uptrend continues. Okay, onward to 425 we go. All right, that's really our next target point as far as I'm concerned is 425. All-time high was 424.63. If we look at it on the 4 hour, not the best 4 hour candle right now, but it's not terrible. Again, we're overextended a little bit on the 4 hour just because we're far away from the 9 EMA, but you have the stochastic slow crossing to the upside as well. That's pretty much solidified at this point. So we're seeing these bullish crosses across the board right now heading into power hour. Okay, that's a good sign, but at this point, you need to have the mental toughness, or you need to be happy with your profit that you have. Okay, you need to have the mental toughness to either ride this power hour out, which we're probably going to see a pullback just because the daily riders came in, they're going to sell out for profit now. Okay, or if you are happy with profit, go ahead and close them out now because the market, I mean, I'm watching SPY here, it just went down 5 cents. It's probably going to pull back a little bit. Okay, and that's shown with the overextension on the hourly. Okay, if you look at SPY here, it's catching itself right here on the 9 EMA. I'd love to see this turn into a pin bar candle and bounce off, but we will see. All right, let me see. All right, I didn't miss anything. Okay, so let me go over active swings or open swings. PLTR, I'm probably going to enter more into PLTR. So I talked about a buy signal that was triggered. Okay, ascending triangle in the hourly, which I have drawn right here, and we pushed up and above all 3 key EMAs. Now, since then, the sellers have come in, but so far, I'm going to be watching this hourly candle throughout the Zoom meeting because I'm not going to enter any more positions until the last 10 to 15 minutes. So far, I like this hourly candle and how it's filling out. Okay, it dropped down and it's already caught a bounce and it's moving up. Okay, if we look at it on the 4-hour, same thing as I've shown in a couple of different tickers now, stochastic slow cross to the upside. This 4-hour candle could be better. Okay, I want to see this 4-hour candle close somewhere up in here. Okay, stochastic slow across the upside. OBV is pointing up. Very nice bounce off of 55 EMA this morning as well. Strong technical support there. If we look at it on the daily, could be better, but it's not terrible. Pin bar candle so far. That's a strong bullish candle for PLTR as far as I'm concerned. Okay, went down below the 9 EMA, but I have a price level right here at 23.42, and it bounced right there. All right, so let's look at the PLTR option chain. This is where I'm going to lower this here for a minute. Oh, sorry, I had to answer somebody's text real quick. All right, back to this. If we look at it here on the option chain, there is a lot of calls and open interest opening up on our position that we are in. Okay, so it looks like we're right around break even. I think my fill was 35 cents. I don't remember. 17.6 thousand volume today. That's very nice. That's definitely a market maker. There's also going to be some retail mixed in there, but the 62,000 open interest, that is what catches my eye. Okay, that eclipses everything on the short side. Okay, this 45,000 open interest, it's irrelevant, but it's noticeable that there's 3,300 volume matched with it. Actually, 3,400 just about. Okay, that is noticeable, but that could have been bought this morning during our massive sell-off that we had. Okay, we don't know when this was bought. All we know is that it was bought. Okay, but 62,000 open interest eclipses everything on the put side, and that's what I like to see. You also have interesting volume and open interest up here on the 30 strike. Okay, notice how cheap those options are. That's not retail. Retail is not going to do that. This is going to be retail right in here. They're going to flood these options. But this all the way up here, worth 5 cents, that is a market maker. Okay, if we go down and look at the total statistics today, overwhelmingly bullish. Okay, 248,000 calls versus 74,000 puts. You really can't get a bigger difference than that. Okay, overwhelmingly bullish. I'm definitely looking to go long on PLTR again. I'm just trying to make up my mind which account. Maybe I enter more on our challenge account, the $100 challenge account, or maybe I go more into Webull where I can load up on contracts. I'm kind of making up my mind right now, but we're also going to watch close. Okay. Looking at AbbVie, did I go over AbbVie at all? I don't think I did, but this AbbVie candle is beautiful right here. This is what I wanted to see, and we are getting it. This is a bullish engulfing candle for AbbVie today. Okay. So long as AbbVie closes, the body of this candle closes right here, it is a bullish engulfing. Okay. Preferably, I'd like to see more volume. It's possible more volume comes in, but unlikely just because AbbVie isn't that popular. So it's not likely. However, it's riding the daily EMAs up to the upside. We really could be opening up in the money tomorrow, depending on how futures go. Stochastic slow cross to the upside as well, which is always nice to see. I'm really happy though about that bullish engulfing. I was waiting to see if that would play out. On the 4-hour, very, very same setup here as we've been looking at. Stochastic slow cross to the upside. Look where we bounced. We dipped below the 55 EMA a little bit this morning. We got in late, and then boom, we immediately bounced off. That shows me that buyers are there. Okay. Now, what ended up happening, which is what I was thinking was going to happen, this right here is irrelevant because it doesn't pertain to AbbVie. Okay. This happened because EA and AbbVie trade off of each other very, very closely. Okay. You will get those kind of moves in tickers like HD and Lowe's, or Home Depot and Lowe's. You'll get it in Visa and MasterCard. You'll get it in Uber and Lyft. They're not uncommon, but what you want to then do is figure out what that catalyst is. Does it affect both companies, or is it just a shock? In this case, it was a shock. It came as a surprise. So obviously, when people are surprised, they tend to sell. Okay. When people are surprised, they normally don't buy. Instead, they sell. And that's what happened in AbbVie. And of course, they stepped right back in, and the uptrend has continued. Okay. That was a good learning lesson for everybody. If you look at it for AbbVie, it's not terrible news. It's not detrimental to their company at all. So yeah, the dip was bought up, but it's different than AbbVie's price action, right? Now it's just kind of trading sideways a little bit. It's pretty much done for the day. AbbVie, on the other hand, has continued a solid uptrend. Okay. There's a big difference there. Now I want to break down NEE. Not surprising that we're seeing this. NEE is prone to a move like that. Ideally, I do want to see it close above 73, but either way, I'm swinging this. Here's the thing with AbbVie, or excuse me, NEE. We are looking at a very big range breakout. Okay. AbbVie has been range bound for quite a few days, pushing 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, right here. Okay. Here's our range breakout on the hourly. And finally, we're breaking out to the upside. Really, our last resistance was 73.16. We broke out, and now we're kind of falling back a little bit. I'd like to see this bottom wick form and maybe turn this into a pin bar candle. 9 EMA is a little bit below at 72.92, so it's not terrible if we break $73, but I would like to see that hold. But I technically, or not technically, but in reality, what we are doing, we're trading this range breakout for NEE. We could have went next week, but those options, NEE options, don't move a lot. Okay, so I believe this is our third or fourth time trading NEE in this group. Okay, NEE options don't move that well. They do move nicely, but they're not the best. So I did not want to go with June 18th options. Okay, that's just 1 week of time. In my opinion, it's not enough based on how much NEE moves and their options move. Even though the volume and open interest is nice, look where it is. It's at the money. Yes, it's $2 out of the money, but it's still at the money, and I'm not convinced that it's a market maker. I have a feeling more than half of that is retail volume. Okay, instead we bumped it out to July 16th. Gives us plenty and plenty of time for this option. It looks like we're right at break even for the most part. I think my fill was $95 or maybe it was 100. I don't remember. So we're pretty much break even. Overwhelming call volume, as you can see, versus put volume. So that's always good to see. And there's a market maker sitting right here, 3,000 open interest, 2,300 open interest. They're there. They have plenty of time on their side, so they don't need to make a big move yet. Okay, this is probably going to be a slow range breakout. Ideally, I'm looking at $74. Let's break out the hourly time frame. Ideally, I'm looking at $74 where you can see selling pressure came in over here, and then above that, we'll take it every 50 cents. So 74, 74.50, and then finally 75. But of course, follow your own profit-taking rules. Okay. I believe that is all of our open swings I've gone over. So now it is time to build our watch list, or actually not our watch list, but let's find a new swing position. Let's see what SPY is up to. Okay, so SPY is bouncing up, it looks like, if I'm not mistaken. Good. I do want to see SPY bounce. All right, so we're getting that bounce on the hourly. That's good to see. Let's look at Microsoft. So Microsoft, I'm actually looking at for a swing. All right, it has started the gap fill. This is a large gap to fill for Microsoft. Okay, the bigger the gap, the longer it's going to take to fill. Okay, they're not going to be filled overnight. It can be depending on futures, but normally when you get a couple dollar gap, especially on a ticker like Microsoft, they're usually going to take 2 to 3 days, maybe 4 or 5 days to fill out. Okay, let me break it out on the daily time frame here. This is how big of a gap we're looking at from 2050, or excuse me, from 256.50 up to 260.12. Okay, we have a breakout on the daily time frame here. Very nice bullish candle. Volume is still coming in. It's still low from what I'd like to see, but it's not terrible. It's not a bad daily candle at all. OBV is pointing up. Overextended on the daily. That's okay. Let's see what we have on the 4-hour. 4-hour, very similar to what we've seen in many, many setups. Stochastic slow cross to the upside, breaking away from the EMAs on the 4-hour, and we took a leg up. Okay. Now, as far as the option chain is concerned, I am looking at 260 calls next week expiration. Okay. They will be risky. They're going to be cheap if you see 128 on the ask. They're not expensive, but they are going to be risky. Okay. If that is more than half your account, and I would even say if that is more than 1/3 of your account, if I take this trade, do not take it. Okay. We're going to find other setups if they are there. Microsoft, this can be a big loser. Okay. If the market makers gap us down tomorrow or gap us down over the weekend, this can turn out to be a big loser. Okay. I'm talking like a 40, maybe a 50% loser. Okay. If that is more, if this option premium is more than half your account, if it's half of your account, if it's even more than 40% of your account, do not take it. Okay. It's not worth the risk. But open interest is very, very nice. 26,000, 1,700 call volume today. That's also very good. It's not really matched anywhere to the short side until you get over to 245, but I'm not convinced that Microsoft's going to 245. Okay, that's $11 or so from being in the money. I'm not convinced. If we look at it on the June 25th expiration, notice how much the premium goes up, but there's obviously a market maker here as well. This is not retail. 9,800 open interest, 2,900 call volume. This is the risk averse trade. Okay, if you like this Microsoft setup and you want to enter it, but you're worried about swinging over the weekend and then it turning into a weekly option, take the June 25th expiration call. Okay, this is a much better, safer swing trade than this one. Okay, I might take this one, I might not. I don't know, but I'm not going to take the June 25th just because I'm looking to buy multiple cons. That's all. So with that being said, I'm not going to take this one just because I don't feel like putting $400 into multiple cons from Microsoft. I'd rather do that for something like PLTR. But I might buy one or two of these calls. I have yet to make my mind up. Okay, but the bullish setup is there for Microsoft. So that is one ticker that we are looking at, and let me write that down real quick so I know I don't forget. Oh, I never finished breaking down pins. Just remember that. Pinterest. There's a reason why I chose the expiration date I did. Okay. I don't have fib levels up here on Thinkorswim, but we are going to be closing well above a fib level that I have up on TradingView, which I don't have open right now. Okay. There's another fib level sitting right here in the middle of this daily gap. Okay. This gap fill right here is what I am eyeing up. Now, normally a gap fill takes a few times to get tested and then it begins to fill its gap. Okay. Pinterest is looking to test this gap entry for the first time. Okay. $70 or it looks like 69, 67, give or take. That is the trigger to fill that gap fill. I am betting that Pinterest gets rejected the first time it tries to fill this gap. Okay. So with that being said, that's why I chose so much time in case we do get to $70 plus and this gap begins to fill. And we're going to be in the money by then. So our option is going to be having intrinsic value. We're going to begin maxing out the delta, which is always a big plus. Okay. Now, also looking at today's candle, closing above a very, very key EMA for the first time since earnings. So for the first time since April 27th, we're going to be closing above the 55 EMA. That is a huge technical support level. OBV is pointing up. We have our stochastic slow across the upside as well. That is a very, very big sign to see for Pinterest. Let me flip it back to SPY, see what's going on. Let's look at the hourly again. So buyers are maintaining their presence so far. We got 40 minutes left. That just changed. We got 40 minutes left in the market open. So let's move on. Went over pins. Let's look at AMD. I haven't traded AMD in forever. All right. So earlier this week, I posted this channel for AMD, broke down, and then it went right back into it. Okay. Overextended on the hourly. Selling pressure is there, and so is buying pressure. So we're looking at a bull flag for AMD heading into close. All right, so we have an hourly bull flag here. This is your flagpole, these two big hourly candles. And now you have this forming, or you can look at it as a symmetrical triangle. But either way, we have a very big flagpole, and then we have our flag right here. Okay, that is setting us up for a nice move at open tomorrow. Excuse me. All right, 4 hour, very nice. Stochastic slow cross, very similar setups all across the board here for the 4 hour. That's what I like to see, a confluence across the board. You really can't beat that. Close to a bullish engulfing, not quite. Nice bounce off the 21 EMA, closing well above all three key EMAs, which is another big plus. OBV is pointing back up. Stock wants to curl back to the upside, but it's not going to cross today. Could cross tomorrow. Let's see what the option chain shows us. All right off the bat, this is interesting. 27,000 puts on today's volume for the 80 strike. That's a lot. That is a lot, especially for being 4 strikes out of the money. And then it's matched with 7,200 or 72,000 open interest. That's a lot. I'm going to start backing off of this swing idea to the upside just because of this option right here. Okay, that's a lot of money, and I'm not seeing anything that matches that on the call side. Okay, there's no dominant option that's being bought right now. This is being bought into. 27,000 volume, that's a lot. I mean, where did AMD open? Okay, so AMD opened in the money. So that opened in the money. I mean, it's going to be tough to say and argue that 27,000 puts were just bought at open today for next week. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, I'm not seeing anything that dominates the call volume. So what's next? What's this show? Not surprised if this doesn't show a lot. I mean, you have a market maker right here. You have one right here. But, I mean, I'm not convinced. So I'm probably going to back off of AMD. I don't need July 16th expiration anymore. So 100,000 more calls and puts today. But that's not the clear-cut difference that we saw in PLTR, I believe it was. PLTR, it was about as big of a difference as you could get. We're not seeing that in AMD. So with that being said, I'm going to back off of the AMD swing idea, but don't force a trade. But if you like the setup, by all means, take it. Let me flip it back to SPY here because I do want to keep up to date with this. Buyers are still showing their presence. That's okay. PLTR 2420. Nice. So this hour candles. Okay. I mean, if it closes as a doji, I wouldn't be upset. Another one that I meant to look at was Snapchat. Ooh, Snapchat's breaking out. All right, so I posted this earlier. I hope you guys are able to get in. No position from me. I would be chasing at this point if I did get in. Broke this spot or this top trend line. Okay, that's what I was looking at. I mean, if you want to draw like a triangle there, okay, I guess it's there. I don't know. But notice where Snapchat bounced. Right here, you can trace this trend line all the way up here, and boom, that's where you got your bounce. This was my entry looking here. Okay. Snapchat's probably going to run to $63 plus. Very, very strong breakout on the hourly. Very nice breakout on the 4 hour. I would put 62.85 as your first price target, then 63, and then you can run it up to 63.50. Okay. Is it worth entering? 65 strike calls have a lot of volume. That's noticeable. Nothing to the short side. That's good to see. Now this is at the money. So now we're going to start being retail traders, and we're not going to be following smart money. Smart money was there earlier. I do remember looking at it, but I just didn't want to overexpose myself in the middle of the trading day so much, so I didn't enter. I hope some of you did because the setup obviously was very, very solid. I'm not opposed to swinging Snapchat, but we would be chasing. So we're going to put it on the back burner, but I am writing it down as an option. But if I had to choose between Snapchat and Microsoft, I'd be leaning towards Microsoft just because I know there's so much upside with that gap fill. Okay, let's check out Neo. This is another good smaller name. All right, so we're stuck in a downward channel, as we can see here. That trend line could be better. Stochastic slow is crossing, but the buying pressure in this 4 hour candle could be better. Let's see what the hourly shows. Hourly, and yeah, not liking the hourly unless this candle starts running big time into close. Option chain tell us anything. Okay, so 45 sticks out to me. Nothing to the short side, but I mean that's a ton of open interest with a lot of volume. Um, so yeah, I'm not gonna do Neo. Neo, I don't like what I see. Let's check out other EVs. XPEV, that's even worse of a close than what Neo was looking at. If you look at LI, same thing, not a good close. I think I just saw somebody type some stuff. Oh, okay, we got a lot of messages. Okay, that was about volume or my volume. Flag on X 5 minute. That's 10 minutes ago. I'll be more than happy to look at it. So were you talking about this right here? Okay. Well, yeah, I would say yes, but it's not the best. So let's see if X did a bull flag today. New bull flag today in X. It's not the best, but yes, it is there. I would, I mean, immediately right off the bat, talking about an intraday resistance, 2820. Hell of a resistance. Um, let's see. So would it be too late for pins? Not if you give yourself time. Um, I mean, I'm up. I forget what I said, how much I was up. I mean, wait for a pullback by all means. This right now, if you enter now, Thomas, you're going to be entering on a juiced option. Okay. So if you're entering, look for a candle like this. Okay. Because that crushes the premium a little bit for you. It's going to bring down IV, and then you can capitalize on when this happens again. Okay. Just because this happens, though, does not mean it then catches a bottom and reverses the next 5 minute candle. This can turn into just a staircase down. All right. So there's no guarantee, but keep that in mind. It looks like we could be looking at our top for the day at 67.90. If this candle doesn't break over, that'll be 3 rejections. Then we'll probably see a pullback and heading into close. So if that happens, that's your entry point to enter. Okay. Um, let's see. INTC. NEE did a new high a day after when I looked at it. Wow, NEE. That's so typical. That is funny. That's funny. Oh, yes, absolutely. I'll admit you. That is so funny. Look at the volume that came in. So okay, looking at it on the 5 minute, it's not that noticeable, but it's good to see either way. So that is always good to see. And then you also asked about Intel, Thomas. Ooh, what's going on with Intel? Because this is nasty right now. That huge volume. Did they have a news? I mean, this must be a catalyst that just broke for Intel, because that's huge volume. That's bigger than the opening candle. So there must be literally a catalyst within the past 10 minutes for Intel. I'm sorry if you already mentioned this, but thoughts on? No, yeah, you're good. I don't care if I repeat myself. I like it, but at this point, what I'd be chasing now, let's see here, intraday, what kind of pullback are we going to get? So hourly, 90 MA is right there. I'm not opposed to swinging snap, but personally, I'm going to swing 63 calls if I do it. If you choose 65, don't do next week expiration. I would do June 25th. Okay. And so that is a market maker. Wow. 7,000 open interest, 13,000 volume. Okay. A great learning lesson right here. An out of the money option with 2 weeks of time on it. The volume is eclipsing open interest. And in this case, it's bigger by thousands. That is a market maker who bought in today. This is a very solid looking option to swing now. Okay. I actually really, really like this a lot. So I'm going to write this down next to Snapchat. That is 100% a market maker. That is 100% a market maker. This does not happen very often, especially for a rather unique ticker like Snapchat. It's not unpopular, as we can see, but it's not the most popular. Okay. So that is very, very unusual. And that's what I love to look for. So nothing's matched to the put side, really. I mean, this 9,000 volume versus, that's irrelevant. This could be a market maker's hedge. It's noticeable, but this is much more noticeable. that is eye-popping to me for something like Snapchat. So that I like a lot. But yeah, 63 straight calls for next week expiration, or I would do 65 and now 66 strike calls for the following week. Okay, I like both of them a lot. Snapchat absolutely running into close. Yeah, absolutely. GPRO, not bad. Week on the hourly, I can tell you right off the bat. You don't want to break under this 55 EMA because then that sets it up to come back down to $11. Yeah, I mean, it might not be a bad idea. There's still time, 29 minutes or so, 28 minutes given for power hour, but I mean, that's not a strong close by any means. On the 5 minute, okay, so if we break it down intraday, maybe you get a bounce here. Maybe, I mean, that's a bouncing candle right there, but is it just going to get rejected at the 9 EMA like it did up here and then take a leg down to low of day? So you never know. Let me see the 4 hour. 4 hour would be strong. Yes, 4 hour would be stronger. Here's the thing about the 4 hour. That's a very nasty 4 hour candle. And to have that nasty close right on the 21 EMA, that's not the best. Okay. I mean, these two candles are pretty much polar opposites. Buyer stepped in, seller stepped in. I mean, they're pretty much polar opposites of each other. It's not the strongest looking of closes at all. Let's see PLTR. Oh, sorry, I got to text somebody back real quick. All righty, PLTR, nice, still holding strong. Still feeling good about swinging PLTR. Definitely on my swing watch as well. Let's look at SPY. That hourly candle has changed a lot. I want to see it close above 90 EMA at most. Bigger time frames are still intact, so I don't really care about what the hourly time frame shows. Let's see. Twitter, that's been getting call flow, I know, recently. Let me see if there's anything worthwhile. All right, so hourly, it's strong. Solid uptrend. You can make the case for an ascending triangle right there on the hourly. Okay, that's supposed to be a bullish breakout, but they can always break down. You can make the case for it. What do bigger time frames show? Okay, solid 4 hour. Looks like it could cross. What's the daily show? Daily, very nice pin bar. That's a very bullish daily candle right off the 9 EMA. Okay, so now let's put Twitter on watch just based off of TA. I like this a lot. We could easily be looking at 61 just because of previous resistance as for our price target. Let's see, 60,000 calls. Okay, so there's 2-to-1 call ratio. That's always good to see. June 25th, nothing stands out. That's okay. All right, we're seeing some love now. This is noticeable. Look how cheap these options are. 2,500 volume, 17,000 open interest, 65 strike calls. That's noticeable. That's a market maker. Noticeable, but not matching volume. It's not even over 1,000, so it's not worth my time. No matching volume, not worth my time. So yeah, and I'd say smart money is leaning to the call side by all means, but I want to see a dominant option right here. Okay, I want to see this up in here that's closer to being in the money because that's what we want. We want our option to go in the money. So looking at 61, volume is close to 1,000. It's not quite there. I'd like to see it at 1,000. There's still time, but it's gonna be tough. 2,500 open interest. If I had to guess, that's the option, or not if I had to guess, but if I do swing Twitter, I'm writing this down. That's the option that I'm going with. 618, 61 call. All right, no positions yet. Just so everybody knows, I do not have a position from this Zoom meeting. So PLTR, ATV, pins, and NEE are my only open positions. Let's look at Apple. Let's see what the Kingmaker's up to. That's a really bad close. There's no two ways of cutting it. That's a bad close. Polar opposite of Microsoft, which is interesting. Closing right on the 9 EMA. OBV is pointing down. Stochastic slow could cross the downside. That's not what you want to see. But what does the 4 hour show us? That's a bearish close on the 4 hour. That is interesting. What does the 5 minute show us? So, I mean, just weakness all day long. Interesting. Has Microsoft given it up yet? No, but it's holding on. Okay. So what do our swings currently look like? NEE, high of day into close. That's awesome. ATV, trading sideways, slowly trending down. I'm not surprised. EA, just out of curiosity. Okay, good. As long as it doesn't dump, that's fine. PLTR, I mean, I'd like to see it close above 24.20. What's my last one? I'm always forgetting it. Shoot, I don't know what my last swing is off the top of my head. Let's see. Any I did go over. By the way, I'm up 25% now on NEE. So if you got a better entry than me, you're more than that. I think it was Pinterest I didn't go over. Right now, I'm up 11% on ATV. Pinterest, we flashed in the money there for a second. We missed it. That's okay though. We have plenty of time. I'm up 19% right now on Pinterest. PLTR, I'm probably a little red. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm red by like $2. So I don't really care about that. Let's see. So Apple, we don't like what we see. Oh, let's look at banks because I'd love to give exposure to both sides. Okay. Just selling off into close. I feel like it would be chasing at this point. Absolutely crushed all support on 4 hours. That's bearish. Very badly bearish. Beautiful bearish engulfing candle. We could be looking at Bank of America dropping all the way down to the 55 EMA, which will put it at 40.58. But what's the kingmaker for banks doing? Goldman Sachs. Whenever you trade the big six, make sure you look at Goldman Sachs because they're all going to follow Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs absolutely dominates the banking industry. Okay. Bearish engulfing candle that closes that engulfs 2 previous days. That's very bearish. OBV pointing down. We have volume bar as well, which is noticeable. And we have a stochastic slow cross as well. So out of curiosity, these are probably expensive, even next week's. They're expensive, but I'm trying to see if there's a market maker here. The only market maker I see is right here at 385, but it's not dominant. That's not a lot of volume. For a cheap option, that's not a lot of volume, but it's definitely the market maker's there. June 25th, absolutely nothing. Okay. So what does JPM show? JPM is number 2. Very similar to Bank of America and Goldman Sachs. Huge bearish engulfing. We could be looking at a drop all the way down to 157.75. So is there a market maker? There's market makers to the upside for sure. That's not all retail. This is interesting. 19,000 open interest, but there's no volume that matches that. So 1,500 volume. That's interesting. This is 2 weeks away. That's interesting. That's a market maker. No matching volume on the call side. Open interest is there. So let me flip it back to Bank of America. Let's see. So calls versus puts. I'm not surprised by that. I'm guessing a lot of people are thinking Bank of America is going to bounce. But I mean, if we short Bank of America, there's no reason to be bullish right now based on price action. Market makers sitting here to the call side. There's a market maker sitting here on the short side. Volume is eclipsed open interest by a few hundred. That's good to see. Notice how cheap those options are. This is a market maker right here. That's a very nice option. So we might be looking at this option right here. Bank of America. Open interest heavily to the call side, but if we follow price action and we know what the treasury yields are doing, that's a 1-2 punch of bearish catalyst, okay, for Bank of America. Now, if we look here at Bank of America, we can draw a strong uptrend that has been intact for quite some time, okay? We got multiple bounces off of it. This uptrend began at the end of April, on April 21st. Okay, we're now breaking that uptrend. We tried to reclaim it, and then boom, now we've fallen into a bearish engulfing trap. Pins is in the money again. That's awesome. Yeah, if you guys want to sell Pinterest in the money, by all means, go right ahead if you're happy with profit. No one can fault you. I will never fault you for selling an option that is in profit. So by all means, go ahead and lock in profit if you wish, but I am swinging. So Bank of America to the short side, just to give us exposure. I'm going to write that down as well. If I had to pick an option, let's see, and I got to keep an eye on time. We're at 20 minutes left. 41. I mean, they're both cheap. All right, let me look at the Greeks here real quick. 34. This was the option that had the most volume, if I remember. What did I just do? Yeah, so I'm going to be looking at this option right here, the 41 strike puts for June 25th. We have a bigger delta, so we make more money. 625, 41 put. All right, so that would be the option that we follow if we go short into Bank of America. Okay, AJ Royce, Diamond. That's funny. PLTR, I'm swinging all of those with you. Let's update. Let me see an update on our swings. 24.17, not bad. Love to see this thing absolutely launch into close. Abby, not bad. I'd love to see it reclaim 97.60. Pinterest, that's beautiful. Love this run. What is Snapchat up to? Okay, so Snapchat hitting some resistance. That's setting me up nicely to want to swing it. Do I enter now? I mean, there's two really good swing setups that I like for Pinterest. I mean, this one, if you want to follow the market maker, by all means, you can do that one. But I like this one a lot, the 63 call. I also like 66 and 65 strike calls for June 25th. And this, I can guarantee you, is a market maker right here. And that is a dominant market maker. So Pinterest, I'm definitely leaning towards Pinterest, or not Pinterest, Snapchat above them all. Let's see if there's any more. Johnson & Johnson, we're not going to look at them. Maybe we give airlines a shot. Let's see what Boeing's up to. Nasty close. Nasty close for Boeing. Bigger time frame, nasty. So what do airlines show us? Maybe there's something clear cut for airlines. Okay, United filled a gap. Okay, that would be chasing. What does American show us? American, I mean, it's bearish, but nothing clean cut that I like. Okay, so it's kind of messy. I mean, it's bearish, but I don't really like anything that I see. Let's continue on down. I mean, let's look at ADM. I haven't traded that thing forever. Selling off, breaking technical support. Nasty close. Is there a market maker in here? Okay, it's nothing hype about. It's noticeable volume. Noticeable volume. I see nothing that's worth my time. Let's see. Let's look at solar names again. CSIQ among others. CSIQ, beautiful opening run, and look where it got rejected this morning, right at the 55 EMA. That's classic. Maybe we enter for round two. The setup is certainly there. Beautiful close that we're looking at. Yeah, the sellers are there, but that's a strong technical support to push. So I'm not really all that surprised. On the 4 hour, we're showing it breaking out of the downward trend here as well. No buyers stepping in on the 4 hour. So what does the hourly show us? Nasty hourly candle. That's not the greatest to look at. Let's see. What about CRM? Let's see what CRM is up to. Nice run all day into close. Broke out of a range breakout that I can see right here. If I look at it on the 4 hour, breaking out of the range again on the 4 hour. I mean, you could put 2243.50 as your price target. Let me take a sip of water real quick. Okay, so this option right here is where a market maker is sitting. That's at the money though, so that would be very dangerous and it's expensive. You don't want to enter at the money option to swing. That's so expensive. There's a market maker sitting here. There's a market maker sitting here. These could be worth it. I mean, we would then be $5, give or take, out of the money, so it's not terrible. Why am I looking at June 18th? Let me just make sure. Okay, that's what I figured. Bumping it down again, there's a market maker sitting here at 250, not dominant, only 111 volume, matched with 1500 open interest. But if you noticed here, there's nothing, absolutely nothing on the calls or on the put side, excuse me. So it looks like there's only bullish options being traded right now for CRM. Today's total 28,000 versus 13.6 thousand. That's not terrible ratio. So I like it, but CRM's a big name. And so if CRM was to move against us, it would be a big loss. But the option isn't expensive, so it would be an ugly, nasty percent loss, but the dollar loss wouldn't be terrible. No, I'm not going to do it because it's more, the delta to theta ratio is not 2-to-1 at a minimum. So for that reason, I'm backing off. I mean, what's IV? IV is low. So for that reason, between the Greeks, I'm not comfortable doing it. So I'm going to back off of swinging CRM calls overnight. Let's see. Let's check out DraftKings. That's another good one to look at always. Downward channel, but not really seeing any presence from buyers. Yeah, I'm not liking the price action today. Is there anything dominant? Okay, so there's something dominant. 55. That's a market maker right there. 5,800 volume, 18,000 open interest. It's a market maker. We'll look at the daily now because I like that. Again, sitting at 55, there's a market maker if you want to give yourself more time. 2,900 versus 7,000 open interest. Very lopsided. 60,000 calls versus 15,000 puts. Very lopsided to see. Okay, so let me look at, I'll check out MU. Did not mean to click that. Let me check out the daily time frame real quick. Stochastic slow crossing to the downside. I'm gonna back off of DraftKings. I want to follow that market maker, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. Thank you for bringing up MU. I think I meant to talk about that. OBV is pointing up. It's interesting. Notice the very bearish price action, and then OBV starts pointing up. That's interesting. Sellers are strong, buyers are there, but they're not stronger, I should say. Nope, not going to enter MU calls. This 4-hour candle, if the buyers had any strength in them, they would have at least be closing above that. Instead, they opened right there and they got rejected. So there is no strength in MU right now based on that. On the hourly, flat resistance. I mean, it just gave it up in the last hour, but very hard resistance at 79.60, give or take a few cents. So heading into close, it's bearish. If you look at it on the hourly stock, crossing to the downside, very nasty hourly candle. So for that reason, backing off of MU, BYND, this thing has juiced options again. Nasty close below all 3 EMAs. There's a market maker sitting here, but not very dominant. There's another one sitting over here, but not very dominant. Dominant market maker right here, but that's extremely far out of the money. Maybe they know there's a pending catalyst. I don't know. Market maker sitting here, but not the strongest. These are juiced options, by the way. I do know that. IV is sitting at 55%. These were recently above 100%. And by recently, I mean earlier this week and last week. They're probably, this IV, and being all seriousness, is probably going to make its way back down over the next couple of weeks, down to the mid to high 20s and low 30s as far as percentage points go. So you're running the risk of an IV crush if you swing BYND. Market maker, hedge fund, Wall Street. That's what a market maker is. Yep. Let's see what PLTR is up to. Okay, we got 2420. That's what I wanted to see. Very strong hourly candle. This is making me want to enter more cons. I don't care if this closes as a doji. It's going to be a bullish doji either way. So I like what I see there. I mean, absolutely overwhelming call volume. So that's good to see. I'm gonna probably do this on the challenge account. I'm gonna back off of the weekly or the next week's, and let's see. I'm probably gonna do June 25th. Let's see what I make more money with. So make $39 for every dollar that goes up, $33 for every dollar that goes up. So I'm making more money at this point trading June 25th options. If I'm going to do that, then I might look at this. So let's see what kind of buying power we got. We got $89 in buying power. So that's not terrible. Let's go ahead and enter. What does a 5-minute look like? Since we're giving ourselves 2 minutes or 2 weeks of expiration, let's go ahead and enter this. Let's go ahead and enter at the money calls to swing for PLTR. My price target is $25. So we're going to be banking on this option having intrinsic value. Okay. So let's see if I can't get a fill of 81. See the bid just drop down a little bit. I want to see this ask drop down and then I'll get filled. I'm not going to chase. Okay. Looks like PLTR wants to run and it close, which I'm fine with. So, all right, I'll go ahead and pay the ask. What do you mean? I know I have buying power. Why am I not getting filled? This is a first. Of course, now it jumps up to 84. There we go. Okay, so now we end up paying $2 more, but that's okay. Let me go ahead and alert that real quick. While I'm looking at Webull up, while I have Webull up 21% on Pinterest, 22% on NEE, and 18% right now for ATV. All right, so let me go ahead. Oh, that's the wrong. There we go. Entered. All right, let's see. All right, so let's cycle through other names. We've got 7 minutes left, so not terrible. I just don't want to see this next 5-minute candle just die, but I doubt it will. All right. Hammer time. All right, let's see. Let's revisit Microsoft. That's a nice close. That's definitely a nice close that we're seeing here for Microsoft, and volume is coming in. This, Jesus, when did this happen? This 5-minute candle, if I follow this up, puts us here at 256. So a limit order came in. Somebody got filled for a limit order at 256. That's huge. That gap's going to be filled, no doubt about it. So 260s. That's a nice delta to theta ratio. Vega's there. What's IV? Wow, that's low. That is low. All right, let me get rid of that again. Oh. All right, we're gonna go ahead and check ATV. I would still stick with 260 calls for June 25th. If you swing on Microsoft, I like the setup a lot, and that's a nice close. That's a very nice close. Ooh, ATV wicking up. Maybe EA did the same. It did. Not terrible. Not terrible. Pinterest, love it. Love it. If you were, I forget who it was earlier talking about Pinterest, this was your time to get in Pinterest right here, or these 10 minutes. All right. So don't just keep waiting and waiting and waiting for the entry. Just get in when you see it and buy time. Let me run through my swings here. NEE, I love that. Let me look at Snapchat. Oh, okay. Snapchat's consolidating. I like that. Let's go ahead and enter Snapchat. Answer this guy real quick. All right, we got less than 5 minutes left. What option do I want? These are June 25th. Keep in mind, you can follow this dominant market maker right here and you will make money. I mean, I can't guarantee anything because nothing is guaranteeable in the stock market. But this market maker right here, these 13,000 calls, they're not being bought to lose money. That I can assure you. These over here, I'm thinking more hedges, especially this one when it has 19 open interest. I'm thinking that's more or less a hedge. So let's go ahead. We're going to put the risk on the line. Let's see. Let's see what I got. All right. You know what? I think I'm going to follow this market maker right here. I'm going to follow this market maker. Let's see where this option goes for us for Snapchat because I'm excited to see that. So we'll bump it down to June 25th, $66 strike. My fill, I'm not going to mess around with the fill. It's going to be 103. Haven't gotten filled yet. And of course, the bid just wicked up. So let me go ahead and cancel that. My fill was 104. So 104 for Snapchat. Let me go ahead and signal that. All righty. Now I want exposure to the short side. All right. So I'm in quite a few long positions overnight. I'm okay with that. They all look wonderful. SPY's having a nice close. I'd love to see this 5-minute candle close up here. See triple Qs. That's 2 Qs. Triple Qs. Beautiful close. Beautiful close. All right. Back. Bank of America. Gosh, it's just dumping into close though. Last time we did this was JPM, bullish or bearish engulfing, and we all remember how that turned out. So let's see what premiums look like. I make more money over here. I remember that. All right. So I'm going to enter this option right here, 41 strike puts for Bank of America. This is, I mean, I think this is a primary position by all means, but it's also going to be acting as a hedge in case this market dips overnight. We're going to be making money on Bank of America puts, and that'll help eat away at the losses that we'll see from other open swing positions. Okay, so June 18th, 41 strike puts. My fill is going to be 29. Oh, just kidding. My fill was 28. Got filled at the bid. That's interesting. Alrighty. So that is it for me. We have 11 seconds left. That's not terrible. Huge volume bar coming in for Bank of America right now. Maybe somebody's limit sell got hit. Would love to that be the case. GS in comparison. All right. If anybody has any more questions for me, I would love to answer them. Because other than that, that is it for our live trading. We might do live trading again tomorrow. My weather forecast, I was supposed to go out tomorrow. Suddenly turned really shitty today for tomorrow, so we might do live trading again tomorrow. I did not enter Microsoft. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm shooting to do this at a minimum 1 time a week, anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, though, for sure. PLTR dipped. What a surprise. What a surprise. That's okay, though. I did not do Microsoft. Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Looks like that position ended break even. And this one, the bid just opened up on it. I don't really care about that. I think that'll be fine. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. With that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday. I'm going to go ahead and head out and get some dinner for the night. But if you guys need me, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. At me in the server. Shoot me a DM and I will get back to you. Absolutely. Absolutely.